Thank you, everyone, for joining us again for this webinar, Plan Details and Advantages of Affinity by True Freedom. My name is Dennis Reiner, and joining me today will be Chen Randall, who is Director of Administration for True Freedom. And Chen, I'd like to welcome you to the webinar, and thank you for being available.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
So let's talk a little bit about True Freedom. Many of you on this call perhaps have written the individual plan that True Freedom has, and what you're going to hear today is a whole new offering from True Freedom that's been made available to GoldenCare agents because of our affiliation with and being part of Integrity, and so today, of course, the foundation of this product is still the same, but there's some advantages that we want to focus in on. And as we go through this presentation today, I'm going to invite Chen to participate and to share some of the insights that come from the home office there at True Freedom. But really, it's all about your care, your choice, and your independence, and putting people in control. And True Freedom has been a great go-to solution for many of us here at GoldenCare over the many years that we've had this relationship, especially when we've struggled with not having coverage in all 50 states for solutions that are related to long-term care, where short-term care and maybe our home care products don't fit because of state availability. So today, as we talk about this, I don't think I need to tell any of you what sometimes we're preaching to the choir when we start reciting statistics that, that 70% or so of individuals 65 or older are going to need some form of care. We know that 90% haven't really even had a serious conversation about this topic. And it's interesting that according to a recent AARP study, 86% of individuals said that they would rather age in place. In fact, 61% in that same survey said that they would rather die than actually go to a nursing home. So we know how important it is for individuals to want to age in place and to stay at home. And the reality is having a plan in place is really important. So we want to talk today about the importance of really being proactive and making sure that, we know the biggest risks to older Americans are becoming a burden to their family, losing independence and control, losing kind of that ability to have choice and control over quality care. And again, the reality is most people do want to remain in their home as long as possible. And they also, of course, want to make sure that if they need care, that they're not draining down their income and assets. And so True Freedom becomes a great way that they can protect those income and assets that they have. But yet 80% of these mature Americans maybe are not healthy enough to get some of the other alternatives that we have within our perfect portfolio here at GoldenCare. So we know that 80% have at least one chronic condition, and that maybe could lead to them being not health eligible for some of the other solutions. So True Freedom becomes a great fit. And so these are services that we're talking about that are non-medical, what we think of as custodial. Custodial is really a maintenance form of care. And these are maintenance items that you can see here: meal planning, preparation, grocery shopping, assistance with dressing, bathing, toileting, light housekeeping, laundry, changing linens, and many more services, including accompanying to doctor visits. And so as we talk about this, again, the importance of putting your client in control to be proactive. Some of you may turn to a True Freedom solution as a reacting to a challenge that you've had of getting someone approved. It's far better, of course, as you assess and pre-qualify to maybe lead with the right solution and not find yourself having to necessarily go back to the client when you do have a decline. Although that does happen, and we understand that, and we certainly want to make sure that you know what solutions are available to you. So talking about True Freedom, Chen, you've been involved with True Freedom from the very get-go, and that's been what, 17 plus years?
Oh yes, 17 plus year and going strong.
And this is now, is it the third generation? Well, if we look at just the series, Affinity is relatively new, not brand new, but relatively new, at least new to making it available to our GoldenCare agents. But in general, in that 17 years, there's never been a rate increase, correct?
That is correct. 17 years and never had a rate increase. And our True Freedom plan that you were referring to, it was our third iteration.
Third iteration. Okay. So the series that we're talking about today is part of that third iteration. And what you're going to see today is what we're making available that is unique to our GoldenCare agents and to those of you on this webinar as far as some unique advantages. And that's kind of what the focus of this webinar is all about. And so a little bit about True Freedom again. And Chen, you may want to just take a couple of these, but you know, just to highlight it for those that have not had the opportunity to be associated with True Freedom, we've got here some bullet point items that kind of highlight that. Any that you'd like to point out that you think are important, more so than any of the others listed?
Well, I mean, you know, we are a nationwide product, whereas your agent does not matter what state you're licensed in. Your agents have access in all 50 states. And with simplicity of the same rates for all members, there's no gender pricing, you know, there's no age restrictions. And those are the few things that I like to point out. And it's because we're not insurance, therefore there's no underwriting involved, stringent underwriting involved. And also for the Affinity by True Freedom program, we do give an exclusive discount just for your clients, which we'll cover that in a little bit. But we're more like a service contract, model after like AAA. So it's thinking of like a membership. And it is a long-term
Perfect.
for your clients.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Chen. Really, when you think about this, if you've had some familiarity with True Freedom, there was on the individual side 4 plan choices: a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And with the Affinity version, we know a lot of our agents work in the Medicare space and where there's a little bit more premium sensitivity. And so there is now a 5th plan option, which is a base plan that goes all the way down to 600 lifetime hours. Now, what you also see there is kind of the lifetime retail value of the various plans. And that base plan, for example, starts at just $39 a month before discounts. And Chen started to allude a little bit to a very special discount that we're going to cover. Is there anything else, Chen, that stands out? Because as I've been affiliated with the True Freedom and close to it, I've seen kind of a mix of the business that's come through. And of course, base is relatively new, so we may not have some of the numbers. But overall, between bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, how would you assess, because you're very close to seeing the business that comes in terms of what that mix looks like?
Yes, well, you know, silver and bronze plans by far are most popular, and each of them takes about a third of the volume. So the rest of it, the platinum and gold is about 18 and 20%. But silver and bronze is by far the most popular plans.
And you can see here with the lifetime hours, and again, this is why there's a lot of personalization and customization here, because the client can choose anywhere from that 600 hours all the way up to 10,000. And we put a value there. And maybe, Chen, just spend just a second or so when we talk about the cost, the 21 cents for every lifetime value. We do have a value proposition that we can send as a follow-up. But why is that so important to kind of illustrate that from a cost on the dollar, so to speak?
Yeah, so what is this? Just leveraging having a plan in action that litigate the cost of your consumers, of the clients that you have. So right now, we took the number of a national average, a home care agency hourly rate is about $28 and steadily climbing. So we utilize that to narrate what it's going to cost your client if they have a plan in place. So for like the platinum plan, 20 cents for every dollar that they spend on a True Freedom plan. In a lifetime, it will take your client up to 11 years to utilize the 10,000 lifetime hours. And during that time, and by keeping the plan for 5 years, I just say to keep it for 5 years, you know, enjoying the non-usage blues discount, which we'll talk about that later in just a little bit. You know, how much total in True Freedom plan premiums have they paid in versus how much it's valued at. So they would pay in for, let's just say 5 years plus 11, so 16 years. How much they paid in on a platinum plan? Meanwhile, it's cost us $280,000 to pay out the 10,000 lifetime hours. So that's how we came up with the 21 cents for every dollar they're spending. So it is a leverage for your client to utilize by having a plan in place. And of course, as time goes, the value increases because we're going to be approaching about $30 an hour on average. So we're automatically going to increase that to 300,000, which the cost for your client is going to decrease less than 21 cents per every dollar they spend.
Thank you so much. You know, some of you who've been on previous webinars, I like to give the comparison between what we call MOM, which is using my own money, versus OPM, versus using other people's money. So the power of the leverage that Chen just talked about is really important. And again, it may be what your client's looking for. They have a history of a family member that's, you know, that's aged in place and spent many years, and we're very concerned about a lingering condition, or it may be that they just want some coverage. So there's a plan for any budget, that's for sure. And that's why, as Chen indicated a few minutes ago, why this is a little bit different. Because you're associated with GoldenCare, what we're treating GoldenCare's clients, our GoldenCare agents' clients, we're treating them as if they were their own affinity. And that's because we're part of the integrity network of where we have a big family of other partners. And so as such, whether your client is a Medicare client, a life client, a final expense client, so they're going to be entitled, and we'll talk a little bit about how we actually track this from an enrollment standpoint, but they're going to be entitled to an exclusive 10% member discount with no compensation reduction. That is huge, and this is something that Chen worked very closely with GoldenCare on to bring to the market this opportunity, so that you could go and make your clients feel special, that they're going to get something that's an additional value. And remember, this is by invitation only by certain groups that are allowed to have this discount. Now, it doesn't mean that you couldn't go out and talk to an association or a chamber group or a church group and also extend that discount. But for the one-on-one sales with your existing clients, you're going to be able to treat those clients as if they were their own affinity, which is really special. Now, in addition to that 10% member discount, there is still the same 10% partner or spouse discount, which is available on the individual side. And there is that non-use loyalty discount of 40%. So a very quick example of this, Chen, why don't we just pick silver as an example, so we can walk through why over time these discounts really make a big difference to our agents' clients as it relates to the savings that they get, especially when they're not actually activating service.
Yes, so silver, as you can see on the retail, is $175 a month if you enroll by yourself. But if you enroll with a partner, let's just say they both purchased a silver plan. So now your first year, because you are the exclusive affinity member discount plus a 10% partner discount. So your first year, it just reduced from $175 to $140 a month for the 3,000 lifetime hours. So in year two, I'm going to stay with the partner. Year two, if neither one of them have access to their benefits, now we give them a 10% non-usage loyalty discount on top of the 20% they receive on the first year. So now the total discount is 30%. So that 175 is now only 122.50 a month to maintain. So year three, they have not activated services. Now they're getting a 20% loyalty non-usage discount on top of the first year 20% discount. So now on the third year, by renewing, they're getting a 40% discount. Where it was 175 is now at 105. So year four, they get a 30% loyalty non-usage discount. By year five, look at that. By year five, they're getting a 40% loyalty non-usage discount plus the 10% affinity plus a 10% partner. So their total discount is 60% off the 175 is now only $70 each to maintain the 3,000 lifetime hours. As you can see, the savings substantial. And it will remain a year five rate for year 6, 7, 8, 9, however long until they activate services. Once they activate services, they're going to go back to the year one price, meaning for this particular couple, if let's just say the husband utilized services, his going to go back to 140, but the wife is going to remain at the $70.
That's tremendous. Many of you who've actually sold other programs in the long-term care space where there's an association discount or an affinity discount, usually of only 5%, these discounts are substantial. And what it does is it rewards that client who doesn't buy it today and plan on using service tomorrow just because they don't want to clean their house or need some help with meal preparation. So that non-use discount, loyalty discount, really does add up, and it becomes a tremendous savings, 60%. And now you can even take it one step further if we use that same scenario, Chen, in that silver plan, and just show how, if that client decides to pay annually, there's an additional 5% discount, and that would drop it from $70 a month. If you're looking at the bottom graph here, down to $61.25. And again, one of the things that makes True Freedom a little bit unique to the marketplace, and Jen, speak just for a second, because I know that you could charge for this, but talk about the advantages of using a credit card, not only for the client from the standpoint of how the client benefits by miles or hotel points, but just talk about from an internal standpoint what commitment True Freedom has made.
Oh yeah, so we committed to allow our members to utilize credit cards to pay for their membership fees, and we absorb the credit card processing fee, whereas other vendors, whether it's going to restaurants, retail store, whatever it is, they add the credit card fee to the consumers, whereas for us, we absorb that fee.
And that's no small amount. I mean, on average, that's about 3% per.
That's correct, about 3%.
So this is something just to keep in mind. Again, we're talking about the strength of True Freedom, not only to go to your clients and to give them the additional 10% discount as an exclusive affinity discount, but all the other discounts, which in that first year, if you add all those back up, it's up to 25% off that retail rate, which is very strong. Again, we talked a little bit about some of the services here, and so I'm going to move on, Jen, and talk a little bit about the agency, and there's differences between agency hours and anytime hours. And I know, because you and I have worked very closely together over the years, that you've told me some stories about how 17 years ago, it was kind of tough sledding back then to get the attention of some of these nationwide home care agencies, some of the biggest brands out there, such as Visiting Angels, Home Instead, companies like Synergy. And it's a whole lot easier today, isn't it, as far as attracting those agencies that want to be on your network, if you will?
Oh yes, I mean, like you said in the beginning, literally we're like begging them, say, we are for real, we paid the bills, just send me one now, I'll pay it. It came from that to now we're literally inundated with everyday agency intake form, calls, emails, requests that they want to join our network, because the word travels that they say, wow, you guys pay your bills right away, you send an invoice, you pay right away, and it's such an easy process. And because of that, reputation has launched to the fact we don't have to go look for them any longer. They are coming knocking on our front doors. It's something that we're very, very proud of and work very hard to get to.
And some of these are also not listed here. This is not an exhaustive list, but just some of the nationwide familiar names. But certainly there's regional agencies as well, because in some cases a regional agency is going to maybe have more bandwidth because of coverage. And Synergy, who I've had the opportunity to be on some calls with you with the Synergy, which is the third largest home care company. I remember, I think it's Andrea, if I'm not mistaken, who's their one of their key people that we worked with. Is that right? Is it Andrea? I'm just going by memory now.
Yes, it's Andrea.
And she called True Freedom. She had a special term for True Freedom because of the way that they do pay their claims.
We're the gold standard in paying claims. They have never seen any company pay claims like we do. So
yeah, because it comes in, was it weekly, and if it comes in on the same morning, you can
we pay on
the same
Thursdays.
day.
literally they'll send us, invoice Thursday morning, it's paid that afternoon.
That's fantastic. Well, people ask all the time, do I need care coordination? Do I need a third-party agency like with long-term care? And the answer is no. It's just simply calling that toll-free number, and you speak with a care coordinator, and you select whether or not you're having the anytime hours or agency hours. We're going to talk about anytime in just a moment. And contractually, within 72 hours, True Freedom has to actually start that plan of care. And so it's so easy when individuals do want to start services. And let's speak a little bit about, as we've talked a little bit about kind of the agencies that are available that are really the agency hours. Let's talk a little bit about, let me come back to that for just a quick second. So agency hours are 9 to 5, and we'll cover that in just a moment, but let's go to anytime hours, which is a friend or neighbor. It cannot be a family member, but talk about maybe the mix of the business, Chen, that you see that comes in with people utilizing, that friend or neighbor, and how you've set that up to make it easy for that friend or neighbor with a third-party billing process.
Oh yeah, so anytime hours is extremely popular for two things. Our consumers there, they liked having someone they're familiar with, that feels safe and secure, and the flexibility. We have a third-party payroll company called Ally that will pay the friend and neighbor caregiver once a week on Fridays by direct deposit, and all they have to do is download a mobile app to clock in and out. Is that simple.
Excellent. So let's speak a little bit about the agency hours. These are the agency network that we just showed. It's Monday through Friday, up to 5 hours a day. So there is a maximum of a dollar amount, both with, if you're combining, you cannot use both anytime or agency hours in the same day, correct? Or at the same time. So you have to use them separately. And you find that individuals will often use just the agency hours during the week, and then on weekends they may use the anytime hours. And there's no weekends or no holidays, correct?
That is correct. Our members have the flexibility to pick and choose, based upon their needs. So that's what it's really nice. They can do agency hours one day, anytime hours another day, just not the same day.
Right. And so, as Chen indicated, having the flexibility for people to stay home, you want them to stay home, and you want them to have maybe the best of both worlds, which is, anytime hours or agency hours. And on average, back to how a friend or neighbor gets paid, on average, it's based on the state minimum wage. But would you say, to be, just a general statement, on average, about half of whatever the home care company is charging?
Yes, it's about half. Well, we definitely want to meet the minimum wage requirements geographically. A lot of times we'll meet that and surpass minimum wage for the anytime hours.
Okay, great. Well, this is kind of a summary here. We talked about that gold standard already with Synergy, and there's actually a testimonial video that when you get the collateral, the marketing assets that Synergy actually put out, talking about what Chen just indicated. And again, the client, remember, who is the member, doesn't actually pay either the friend or neighbor or the home care company. All of that's handled by True Freedom. Anything else you want to say on that, Chen, before we move on and cover just a few more points, and then we'll see if there's questions that we have about this new opportunity that's available now to GoldenCare agents to take advantage of.
No, I think you did a really good job covering the anytime hours and agency hours.
Well, we have a video, and we won't go deep on this, but it's why True Freedom in the 17 years has never had a rate increase, and actuarially how this has actually been able to be sound for them is because they take whatever bundle, whatever plan you select, they break them down into 10 segments. So, for example, when Chen was talking about the Platinum with 10,000 lifetime hours, if you divide that by 10, that's 1,000 hours. And once the client goes through that first bundle, if you will, or that first segment, they then do not have coverage. There's a 90-day wait until they would actually, in between the next bundle, but they're still paying their membership fee. And again, this ability for them to go through these segments and when they don't have coverage, much like a Medicare donut hole, they either can have a family member or a friend, or they can also still pay for services. But that 90-day is what we've already factored into all of that analysis that Jen shared earlier about that 21 cents on the dollar or the 15 cents on the dollar, about even with going into these segments, about how powerful the leverage still is with True Freedom. But remember, once you go through that first segment and you're ready to start in the second segment, it will start right back up on the 91st day, or you can basically communicate when you want it to start back up. And again, once you exhaust all of the segments, in this case, for using the Platinum as an example, 10,000 hours, then your coverage would end and you'd not be able to purchase any other coverage. And one other point I want to make on this is when you're selecting your plan, remember, you can always go down, but you can never go back up, which is to say the base seems really attractive because it's so inexpensive and it gives people a foundation amount of coverage. But remember, if someone later decides that they would rather have a bronze plan or a silver plan, they cannot upgrade. But had they bought a silver plan, they could always downgrade to either a bronze or to a base. Something that I think is really important in making sure that the individual member is selecting the right plan at the time of enrollment. And so those hours, you can go through them, Chen, as fast or as slow as you would like, correct? Depending upon your own utilization.
Correct. It is customized to every member.
And remember, the member is only using the hours. They're not sharing those hours with a spouse or partner. So unlike in long-term care where there might be a shared benefit that one gets to use or inherit, that's not the case with True Freedom. Each individual has to have their own plan when they're using services. And so again, you can take as long as you want. You have the opportunity once you finish all of the segments, then again your plan would terminate and you're not eligible to purchase another True Freedom plan. So those same rules of the road, if you will, that exist in the individual side also exist with this Affinity version as it relates to how the plans work and how it works from a utilization standpoint. So let's talk just in a few minutes that we have left about enrollment. Jen mentioned about no medical underwriting. And so here's the key. Is the client able to be left alone at home? And so are they living independently? It doesn't matter that maybe another family member lives in the home, but the client has to be able to live independently and not rely upon that other family member. And then are they able to perform their activities of daily living? If they answer yes to both those questions, they're eligible to enroll. So it's a suitability. It's not a medical underwriting. And the great thing about True Freedom is we're talking about a very simple enrollment process, a one-page enrollment. And remember again that if you're talking to people who are aging in right now and maybe think that Medicare is going to take care of this, remember that Medicare is not, it never was intended to pay for any type of care. And if you also have, if your client also has purchased a short-term home care or a short-term care or a traditional long-term care or hybrid, remember there's no coordination of benefits. So both of these plans would pay. They don't have to choose one over the other, although they may want to stagger the coverage if they're trying to stretch out their plan if they have some other coverage. And they may be using True Freedom also to fill some of the gaps. Some people we know who've purchased traditional long-term care really get hung up about the 90-day elimination. And so True Freedom may be a great gap filler for those clients as well. And so I'd like to talk just a quick minute, Jen, about the enrollment and even though we're not going to go through a demo on the enrollment, about because of their relationship with GoldenCare, how we basically code this so that their clients, our GoldenCare agents clients, will be able to get that 10% exclusive Affinity discount. Could you speak to that and maybe to speak a little bit about the process about the electronic app being the terms and condition, but also what they will get physically in the mail this welcome letter?
So all the Affinity by True Freedom enrollments are all online, digital. We use DocuSign as the vessel to facilitate that. So on the enrollment, it's still just a one-page enrollment application, and on there is asking for a group name or ID. So there's going to be a special code for GoldenCare Integrity Marketing to indicate what the group name or ID. So we know that it's part of an integrated marketing family to receive that 10% discount. Also on the digital enrollment, there's a terms and conditions, which is the same. It just requires the signature, digital signature. And there's another page that we added called a statement of understanding. There's 9 items on that statement of understanding reiterating the major points about why it's a membership service contract, not insurance, how the benefit works, the segments work, and discounts. And also the contractual obligation is between your client and True Freedom, which holds the agent free from any liability, so to speak. So just another layer of protection that we're looking out for the agents out there. So as soon as you click and sign the enrollment process, you as an agent, it gets emailed to your client, and they just open up the email from DocuSign and click and sign in 3 spots and click finish. And right after that, your client, yourself, as well as True Freedom here in the home office will receive an email with a fully executed copy of the enrollment application, which we call the field issue contract. So there's nothing you need to deliver or mail to your client. And within 30 days of your client's enrollment, we will then send out a welcome letter such as this, as you can see in front of you. It's just a letter with a detachable ID card for them to peel off and put in the wallet, on their refrigerator, however they want to keep. And that is all there is in terms of policy delivery.
Wow. I mean, it's a pretty easy process. I mean, that enrollment is under 5 minutes, and most clients today, most seniors today have email accounts where it's easy to email them, for them in essence to click and sign digitally in those three spots. So that's how easy it is. And again, you can be assured that your client is going to get all the discounts associated with this particular membership program, including that very special 10% discount. So I guess if that wasn't enough, and Chen, I want to thank you, but here's where I really want to thank you, because you were kind enough with us launching this Affinity program to our GoldenCare agents to put together a very special incentive. And so you can see here the details, and I know Lynn will make sure from our office that this will be sent out as far as a follow-up. But from April 1st through May 31st, a $100 cash bonus per Affinity enrollment. Now, the only plan that does not qualify is the base plan because of the retail price of that plan. So the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum all qualify, and that is available to any GoldenCare agent to participate in, to whether the client pays monthly, whether the client pays annually, pays by credit card. So this is a fantastic offer, Chen, and we want to thank True Freedom for not only allowing us to make available that special Affinity 10% discount to our agents' clients, but also for this very special incentive as a way to kick off this new opportunity.
You're welcome. And I just want to point out one other thing too. The exclusive 10% Affinity discount, you can extend that to your clients' extended family as well. So that's something you want to think about.
Isn't that fantastic? I mean, you're working with a client who has a brother or sister, and remember, a lot of folks today, they want peace of mind. They want to be able to have a solution, and they're looking to you to be the go-to resource. And in today's marketplace, I read an article the other day that really stood out and made me think about this, about our business. And it was entitled that adaptability is the secret to survival. And I think there's a lot of truth to that for us as agents who are out trying to serve more people, that we need to be adaptable. We have to be willing to look for opportunities to be that resource. And maybe everything doesn't always just go exactly the way we want it to go with traditional solutions. And we have to think outside the box. And certainly this Affinity by True Freedom is an opportunity, and it has a proven track record. We've got some of our other, in addition to GoldenCare having years of a relationship on the individual side, we've got others that we've worked with who are partners of ours, and they can just speak to how this has been really maybe the only solution that a client may have been able to get because of the non-medical. So I hope that you'll take advantage of this opportunity. And I'm not sure if we have any questions. I'm not looking at the chat box. I'd have to defer to Lynn on that. But to determine whether or not, I'm not seeing any that are listed. And so with that, Chen, I'd like to thank you very, very much for your knowledge and for your support and for, again, the willingness to make this available so that our agents can go out and really help more clients. And we know that as they help more clients, money becomes a byproduct of that great service. And this is certainly a very important product to add to another arrow in their quiver, remembering that it's available in all 50 states. It's the same rate for all ages. These are no gender-based pricing. This is a tremendous opportunity to take advantage of this. And I'm sure if you want to go back and work with your existing clients, one of the other tools that are available is True Freedom has put together, along with GoldenCare's assistance, a custom email template that you could actually send out to your clients, along with having them watch a very special 2-minute consumer video called The Long Road Ahead that tees up this whole discussion. So we want to make sure that you're hitting the easy button and having the opportunity to help more clients and to help those that maybe have given up on other solutions, and knowing that True Freedom is there and it's available for your clients. So with that, I want to thank you again, Chen, for making yourself available and for all the support. And I want to thank everyone on this call for taking time out of your busy schedule, and look for a follow-up email from GoldenCare that will basically help you to, if you're not appointed, you're not contracted, to make sure you get set up, and also make sure that you can take advantage of the other marketing assets that True Freedom has put together to help you to, again, serve more clients. And with that, this is Dennis Reiner. I want to thank you again for joining us on this webinar, and look for another webinar from GoldenCare. We've got a great series coming up. Tom Randall's leading some additional webinars, as well as our team with John Randall and Jeff Clark. And we're grateful for your business and want to thank you for your business, and look for other opportunities to serve you. Bye for now.
Thank you.
GoldenCare is always here to serve you with new tools, new products, new ideas, and new innovations, and always the best support in the business to help you succeed. So give us a call at 800-842-7799 and check out our website at www.goldencareagent.com.